Hello viewers, welcome to the lecture on online dispute resolution in India. The information and communication technology revolution that has taken place in the 21st century along with the emergence of internet have transformed the world into a global marketplace and revolutionized the way of doing business. In the current scenario, the businesses work over the internet on round the clock cycles and projects are outsourced to business units around the world without a second thought. Deals can be completed without any face-to-face interaction, with online marketplaces acting as the connectors between buyers and sellers. Companies that could only support a regional presence in the past now have a global presence and are capable of doing business all over the world without much of an investment. The acceptance of the internet as a commercial trading platform also increased and continues to increase as the number of transactions that consumers complete online continues its meteoric rise. So too does the amount these consumers are spending online. Almost 4.5 billion people were active internet users as of April 2020, encompassing 59% of the global population. China, India and the United States rank ahead of all other countries in terms of internet users. With over 560 million internet users, India is the second largest online market in the world, ranked only behind China. It is estimated that by 2023, there would be over 650 million internet users in India. Further, the mobile technology has made internet more affordable and accessible, which is evident from the fact that 2 billion users across the world were accessing the WhatsApp Messenger on a monthly basis as of April 2020. However, despite large base of internet users, internet penetration rate in India stands at around 50% in 2020. The internet has enabled individuals to communicate their ideas across continents, retrieve news from multiple sources simultaneously and conduct their business across national borders. Now, let us look at the need for online dispute resolution. The move to cyberspace has actually become more like a race than a comfortable journey. The overall field of dispute resolution cannot avoid being affected by the new information technologies, because communication is central to this process. The internet has had an impact on many areas of public life, including law. Its fast expansion has caused many positive phenomena, such as the computerization of certain areas of law, but has also highlighted the non-compliance of the legal framework with new realities. The global character of the internet has changed approaches with regard to access to information, impacting on copyright and press law. The absence of territorial limitations has highlighted that many provisions concerning private international law are out of date, and the development of electronic commerce has made it necessary to introduce new regulations. The cyberspace has become a place where powerful tools are being developed for communicating, storing and processing information, which activities are also at the heart of dispute resolution. It has been realized that internet might become a kind of dispute resolution space and serve as a vehicle for resolving disputes. Just as disputes can arise in the context of real world interactions, they also arise in the context of online world interactions. The disputes arising in the online context vary considerably and are often extremely difficult for courts to handle by adopting the traditional judicial dispute resolution mechanism for a number of reasons, like the high volume of claims, the contrast between the low value of the transaction and the high cost of litigation, The question of applicable law in both e-commerce and consumer protection contexts, and the difficulty of enforcement of foreign judgments. The traditional dispute resolution mechanism places heavy reliance on rule-based litigation, the shortcomings of which became rather apparent when there is an overlap of jurisdiction and identity is fluid. Hence, there emerged a need to devise techniques, methods which would find effective answers in pressing situations involving cross-border trade or otherwise for situations where the dispute types are of the nature that is very difficult in real world courtrooms. The sharp increase of online cross-border transactions raised a need for mechanisms for resolving disputes which arise from such transactions, and one such mechanism is online dispute resolution or ODR. Now, let us understand the meaning and concept of ODR. According to Ethan Cash, the founding father of ODR, online dispute resolution is dispute resolution that is supported, facilitated, helped by the use of technology. Kaufman, Kohler and Schultz have defined ODR exclusively as the use of ADR assisted principally with ICT tools, although part of the doctrine incorporates a broader approach including online litigation and other sui generis forms of dispute resolution, when they are assisted largely by ICT tools designed ad hoc. According to UNCITRAL Technical Notes on Online Dispute Resolution 2016, ODR is a mechanism for resolving disputes through the use of electronic communications and other information and communication technology. ODR is therefore not a fixed concept, but one that is evolving to include any procedure that relies mainly on ICT to resolve disputes. ODR is a broad term that encompasses many forms of ADR and incorporates the use of the internet, websites, email communications, streaming media and other information technology as part of the dispute resolution process. Parties may never meet face to face when participating in ODR. The three fundamental features or building blocks of any online dispute resolution system are convenience, trust and expertise. The following stakeholders can be identified in ODR. Firstly, two parties having the dispute. Secondly, the independent third party, that is mediator, arbitrator or conciliator. And thirdly, the technology, referred to as a fourth party. Signifying and emphasizing the critical role of technology in ODR mechanism, the technology has been stated to be the fourth party, something that can be of value in both online and offline disputes. We will now discuss the different ODR methods. The following are most common and prominent methods of dispute resolution employed in ODR. Firstly, blind bidding or automated negotiation. In this method, parties successively submit to a computer a monetary figure as a settlement proposal. The computer then compares the offer and the demand and reaches a settlement for their arithmetic mean. The blind bidding method can also be used in conjunction with online mediation. It is a highly innovative form of ODR suitable for settling monetary claims where liability is not disputed, but only the amount of damages payable. Secondly, assisted negotiation. The parties communicate with one another over the internet using, for instance, emails, web-based communication tools or video conferences. Each party first states their initial position without making demands and identifies the underlying interests. From this, the software lists all issues, whether qualitative or quantitative, in a neutral manner. The parties are made to further refine their underlying interests priorities, and the relative importance of each issue, as well as such matters as what they would expect from litigation, and have a clear picture of their best alternative to a negotiated agreement or BATNA. Thirdly, online mediation. The mediator assists the parties in negotiating their dispute using electronic communication such as email or specially designed websites that provide virtual rooms in which the parties can communicate online. Internet neutral or mediator allows parties to choose from several online mediation alternatives, including email, instant messaging, chat conference rooms, and video conferencing. Lastly, online arbitration. It replicates the offline traditional fact finding and decision making processes of arbitration by using information and communication technology for communication and information processing. Currently, most ODR providers allow parties to carry out part of the arbitration process online. Example, parties may download claim forms, the submission of documents through standard email or secure web interface, the use of telephonic hearings, etc. The main challenge for online arbitration is that if judicial enforcement is required, then it partly defeats the purpose of having an online process, as the enforcement has to be sought from the courts of law. Now, we will look at the development of ODR. The history and development of ODR has been categorized by its proponents into 4 phases. The first phase, pre-1995 or hobbyist phase. In this period, ODR did not exist as a proper formal mechanism. The first internet disputes arose during this period, and informal ODR mechanisms were used to resolve them. Listserv moderators were some of the early ODR providers. The second phase, from 1995 to 1998 or experimental phase. During this period, more and more online disputes started to appear, and the first ODR initiatives like Virtual Magistrate Project, Online Ombuds Office, Maryland Family Mediation Project were started with a non-profit motive to resolve these disputes. Third phase, from 1998 to 2002 or entrepreneurial phase. This period saw the application of ODR for commercial purposes and the emergence of ODR industry in the form of eBay Pilot ODR project, Square Trade and CyberSettle, and also saw the application of ODR by ICANN, Online Small Claims Court. The ODR mechanism was looked upon and desired as the process of first choice for providing a solution to problems that originate in the online environment. Fourth phase, from 2002 to present or institutional phase. This phase marked the adoption of the ODR programs by public bodies, leading to formalization and institutionalization of ODR. As of March 2006, at least 149 ODR services have been launched worldwide, although some of them have since closed down or appear to be dormant without significant activity. Some prominent ODR providers are Modria, British Columbia Civil Resolution Tribunal, Eustace, EU ODR platform, etc. ODR is no more online ADR than the online versions of banking, education or gaming are simply the offline versions of those systems moved online. Once a process moves online, its very nature begins to change. Now, let us look at some of the advantages of ODR. Compared to litigation, alternative dispute resolution has the following advantages: lower cost, greater speed, more flexibility in outcomes, less adversarial, more informal, solution rather than blame oriented, private and fewer jurisdictional problems. Online dispute resolution has additional benefits like disputants do not have to meet face to face, and mediation may occur at any time, with participants located in different countries without any hassles. The use of information technology can further promote many benefits of the ADR. Receiving advice online with the potential benefits of decision support systems will reduce costs due to a lower reliance on support from lawyers and mediators. Further, because this advice will be available online or at least through the use of computer systems, such advice will be generally timely. The backlog in seeing lawyers or mediators will be less critical. The sooner disputants are able to have their views heard, the more likely is the prospect of a successful resolution. We will now understand the international legal instruments dealing with ODR. The majority of legal studies on ODR, including online arbitration, agree that neither law nor arbitral principles prevent ODR from taking place online. However, there may be several aspects in ODR that need to be regulated. The UNCITRAL, recognizing the prospects and importance of this vast domain of ODR, which overlaps territorial boundaries, allocated Working Group 3 for making a study on ODR in 2010, of which India is also a member. As a culmination of its works, the UN General Assembly adopted the resolution on the UNCITRAL Technical Notes on Online Dispute Resolution on 13th December 2016. Further, electronic communication has been recognized as a valid mode of communication in several international instruments like United Nations Convention on International Settlement Agreements resulting from mediation 2018, also known as the Singapore Convention on Mediation. United Nations Convention on the Use of Electronic Communications in International Contracts 2005, UNCITRAL Model Law on International Commercial Mediation and International Settlement Agreements resulting from mediation 2018, UNCITRAL Arbitration Rules 2013, and also included in the arbitration and mediation rules of major international institutions providing ADR like International Chamber of Commerce, International Mediation Institute and Singapore International Arbitration Centre, etc. The British Columbia Civil Resolution Tribunal Act of 2012 is considered as the first substantive enactment in the world dealing with online dispute resolution and provides for online, non-facilitated and facilitated dispute resolution, with the final stage being a tribunal hearing which could take place online. The EU regulation on online dispute resolution for consumer disputes 2013 has set up a uniform ODR mechanism across the European Union for the settlement of the consumer disputes in online transactions, and it has become operational from 2015. Further, the ODR Advisory Group to the Civil Justice Council in United Kingdom, in its report in February 2015, has advised for setting up of an online court, provisionally calling it Her Majesty's Online Court for resolving low value civil claims. In his 2019 book Online Courts and the Future of Justice, Professor Richard Susskind argues that global access to justice problems will be solved by adoption of modern technology and envisages that online courts facilitate courts to function as a service and not a place. He presents that in a digital society, it makes sense for much of the work of the courts to be conducted online. Online dispute resolution can assist the parties in resolving disputes in a simple, fast, flexible and secure manner without the need of physical presence or a meeting or a hearing. ODR encompasses a broad range of approaches and forms, including but not limited to ombudsman, complaint boards, negotiation, conciliation, mediation, facilitated settlement, arbitration and others. and the potential for hybrid processes comprising both online and offline elements. As such, ODR represents significant opportunities for access to dispute resolution both in developed and developing countries. Now, we will look at the legal recognition of ODR in India. Online dispute resolution can be understood as the application of methods of ADR in combination of the information and communication technology. ODR means utilizing information technology to carry out alternative dispute resolution. In ODR, not only e-disputes are resolved online, but also traditional disputes such as commercial or social disputes are capable of being resolved by use of information and communication technology. In India, use of ADR techniques is explicitly encouraged through enactments like Lok Adalat under Legal Services Authorities Act 1987, Gram Nyayalayas Act 2008, Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, Commercial Courts Act 2015 and Consumer Protection Act 2019. The court annexed ADR is provided through the Section 89 and Order 10 Rules 1A, 1B and 1C of Code of Civil Procedure 1908 that promotes use of alternative dispute resolution by the parties, directing them to choose any ADR method to settle disputes. The Information Technology Act 2000, which has been enacted basing on the guidelines provided by the UNCITRAL Model Law on E-commerce, provides legal recognition to the transactions done through electronic means of communication, gives legal recognition to electronic signatures for the authentication, facilitates electronic filing of documents, electronic storage of data and gives equivalence to electronic records as that of physical records. Further, the evidentiary value of e-contracts can be well understood in the light of sections 85A, 85B, 88A, 90A and 85C of Indian Evidence Act 1872 that deals with the presumptions as to electronic records, whereas section 65B relates to the admissibility of electronic record. Any information contained in an electronic record which is stored, recorded, copied on an optical or magnetic media produced by a computer shall be deemed to be a document and is admissible as evidence in any proceeding without further proof of the original. Apart from this, the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Act 2015 has included arbitration agreement made by way of communication through electronic means, thus providing statutory recognition to online arbitration. In the case of State of Maharashtra versus Praful B. Desai, the Supreme Court approved the examination of witnesses through video conferencing. In the State NCT of Delhi versus Navjot Sandhu case, the Supreme Court held that call records relating to cellular phones are admissible and reliable evidence, and electronic records were considered to be admissible as evidence in the case of State of Delhi versus Mohammad Afzal. Further, the Supreme Court in Grid Corporation of Orissa Limited case held that when an effective consultation can be achieved by resort to electronic media and remote conferencing, it is not necessary that the two persons required to act in consultation with each other must necessarily sit together at one place, unless it is the requirement of law or of the ruling contract between the parties. In the Doda House case, the Supreme Court has observed that because of the advancements in technology and the rapid growth of new models of conducting business over the internet, it is possible for an entity to have a virtual presence in a place which is located at a distance from the place where it has a physical presence. As per this case, the plaintiff can institute the case where sales are made by it, having the choice of forum across India. However, the application of this case is limited to copyright and trademark infringement cases. Further, in Shakti Bhog Foods case, the Supreme Court observed that the existence of an arbitration agreement between the parties can be inferred from a document signed by the parties or an exchange of letter, telex, telegrams or other means of communication which provide a record of the agreement. In the case of Trimex International FZE Limited, the Supreme Court recognized the formation of a contract through the exchange of emails and held that the contract between the parties was unconditionally accepted through emails and was a valid contract which satisfied the requirements of the Indian Contract Act. Therefore, it can be said that e-contracts are almost same as other hard copy contracts insofar as their evidentiary value is concerned. All e-contracts are valid contracts as they are legalized by the Information Technology Act 2000 and one could be made liable if there is any breach or infringement of the terms of such contracts, which form the legal framework for online dispute resolution in India. Now, let us look at the provision of ODR in India. The Indian government established the E-Committee of the Judiciary in December 2004, which has overseen the steady adoption of electronic infrastructure by courts across the country. The Objectives Accomplishment Report 2019 of Phase 2 of the E-Courts project states that as many as 3,388 court complexes and 16,755 courtrooms across India have already been computerized. Video conferencing equipment has been provided to 3,240 court complexes and 1,272 jails. Apart from this, the National Internet Exchange of India (NIXI), which governs the disputes relating to the .in registry of internet domain names in India, is effective provider of domain name dispute resolution in India through ODR. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs has its Consumer Online Resource Empowerment Core Center, which accepts and resolves complaints end to end via a sophisticated online process. ODR in India is in a nascent stage, but with current mobile technology boom in India, ODR has bright prospects for India. ODR applications are expanding and future of ODR is extremely promising even in India, where culture, language and policies remain intertwined and challenging. The Department of Justice, Government of India has also issued a notification entitled Online Dispute Resolution through Mediation, Arbitration, Conciliation, etc. in 2017, giving information about the working in the field of such alternate methods of dispute resolution, especially providing online mediation services in various matters, so that the government litigation is reduced and government departments or organizations are encouraged not to go to court for their disputes. The Online Consumer Mediation Center (OCMC) has been established at National Law School of India, University Bengaluru under the aegis of Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Government of India in 2017 to provide online redressal forum for consumers. Further, the Peace Gate of the Indian Institute of Arbitration and Mediation (IIAM) is providing online negotiation, online mediation and arbitration services and is a promising provider of ODR in India. Apart from this, Sama, MyShikayat and Yes Settle are some notable ODR providers. Further, after the lockdown amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, the Supreme Court and High Courts in India, including some district courts, have also moved to online mode of operation and are accepting cases through e-filing methods, and appearances, arguments are being conducted through video conferencing applications. Online dispute resolution, as we have seen above, has a promising future and is essential in the light of provision of effective access to justice, not only for online transactions, but also in some offline transactions. Richard Susskind describes ODR as a disruptive technology which will liberate a latent market of low value disputes that today remain largely unresolved and that fundamentally challenges the work of traditional litigators and of judges, and expects that ODR is going to become the dominant way to resolve all but the most complex and high value disputes. Hope you have enjoyed this lesson. Thank you.